Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro.
All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. So glad you could join us on a Thursday. Maybe you're coming home from work. You're going to work. We appreciate you tuning in, baby. And we got a lot to get to, by the way, coming up at the bottom of the hour. Darcy Spears, it's her Dirty Dining segment, the restaurants you do not want to go to that have broken some rules, some health hazards, I guess you could say. So she'll be joining us coming up here at the bottom of the hour. Hour number 3, Mike Babcock from TMZ Sports, the latest in pop sports culture, I guess you could call that. Kevin Garnett made some very interesting remarks about LeBron James yesterday. We'll get to that in hour number 3. UNLV with an announced basketball crowd of 7,000. It looked more like 70. We'll get to that coming up in hour number 3 as well. But, of course, we've been talking about Donald Trump's disgusting comments, and I think any reasonable human being would agree. The comments he made about the former representative, the late John Dingell, who's a World War II veteran, were absolutely appalling and disgusting. So we're taking your phone calls on that. 702-257-5396. Again, that's 257-5396 if you want to discuss that. I also wanted to get to this story real quickly. A Colorado radio host is he doesn't have a job. And the reason why he doesn't have a job is for comments he made on his show talking about school shootings. So instead of me describing it, I want to play it for you in its entirety here. This is the comment that this man made on this station. It is 710 KNUS. The gentleman, I hate to call him gentleman, but the show is called Chuck and Julie Show, co-hosted by Chuck Bonewell. He is a Donald Trump supporter. He is a right-winger, and he was talking about impeachment and distractions, and then he brought up school shootings. So I want to play you this audio. Here it is.
All right, Chuck Bonewell, Julie Hayden here a little after 1:30, talking about the never-ending impeachment of Donald Trump. Yeah, you wish for a nice school shooting to interrupt the monopoly.
Don't even say that. No, don't even say that. Don't call us. Chuck didn't say that.
Which no one would be hurt.
He just said a nice school shooting for a distraction from impeachment. First of all, there's nothing funny about that statement. Second of all, he says it. You could say that anywhere and it would be awful and you could probably lose your job. He said it in Colorado. Okay? Do we remember Columbine? Do we remember the movie school shooting and all the other shootings that have happened there? A nice school shooting.
That's a questionable choice.
Questionable?
Yeah, it's
questionable.
That's a very, very questionable choice by that particular radio host. And again, he was trying to be funny, and he was suggesting the fact that school shootings, something like that, or some type of catastrophic event on a national level would be, I guess, good to turn the eyes of the country from Donald Trump and the impeachment onto whatever catastrophic event, despite the fact that when a catastrophic event happens, people typically die.
I guess this idiot has something in common with the other idiot who's the president of the United States, in that they say really awful things that are beneath being a human being. This guy calling for a nice, he didn't just say school shooting, he said a nice school shooting.
A nice school
would be
shooting.
A distraction from an impeachment. Donald Trump yesterday suggesting that the late Mr. Dingell, World War II veteran, would be looking from above, or looking from, going up instead of down, basically saying that the guy's in hell.
I would say this was worse.
I think they're both extremely inappropriate.
Actually wishing for, kids to be shot while they're at school is a little worse than possibly assuming that maybe this guy is in hell as opposed to heaven.
I'll tell you what, I'm looking at the guy who said this. His name is Chuck Bonewell. He looks very Trumpy. He's an older white male.
Do I look Trumpy, Brian?
No, but let me describe to you what this guy looks. He has Trump hair, probably fake. He looks obese. He looks like he has a double chin. And
does he have phosphorescent white teeth?
Yes, he looks very Trumpish.
Is he orange?
Very Trumpish, and it just so happens he's a right-wing talk show host.
Is he wearing
who's
a
Trump
red tie?
supporter. By the way, just to remind people, in Aurora, 12 people were killed in a mass shooting in that movie theater in 2012, and he calls for a nice school shooting that would be good, a distraction from impeachment. So I ask you this question, folks. Do you think this guy deserved to be fired? I absolutely do. So, and here's the thing. If you think this guy deserves to be fired for calling for a nice school shooting, do you think that Donald Trump should, at the very least, be called out for and have to apologize to the Dingell family for what he said to about the late John Dingell, suggesting that he could be in hell? See, I put these two and two together for this reason. Now, this guy's a radio host. He's not the president of the United States. So obviously we have to hold the president of the United States at a much higher
And is he an
level.
Is he an employee? Was he an employee?
Well, yeah, he was fired. Of course.
Okay.
Of course. 710 KNUS confirms that this inappropriate comment was the reason why that they let this guy go, and this show is done. And they're laughing about it, and his co-host is laughing and like, "Oh no, ha ha ha! He didn't say that. Did you really say that? Let's forget he said that."
She was freaked out, and she said, "Don't say that. Don't say that. You didn't mean that."
Yeah.
She was trying to save face because she knew that he really effed up.
Yeah, well,
when
this
he made
is
that statement.
This is the. I hope so, but this is. I can't get inside her head, but I hope so. But this is the question that I ask the listeners out there right now. Regardless of policy, forget about whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. Just for 1 minute, just listen to me here. Forget about where your allegiance is to the Republican Party or the Democratic Party. Just go back to a human being for a second with me, if you can. And listen, I blame both sides for this.
It's a very humane show today.
Okay, I go back to both sides for this. But just imagine for a second, somebody in your family, and maybe this is true, just passed away recently, within the last year. Imagine that person in your family, it could be your father, it could be your grandfather, whoever it is, was a war veteran who risked his life for this country. Imagine that person who risked his life for this country and also the longest ever serving congressman, so just hypothetically speaking, a good man by all intents and purposes, respected on both sides of the aisle. Imagine if that person was in your family. Imagine if you're a female, this was your husband. Imagine if you're a male, this was your wife. Either or. You're still grieving. Okay, keep that in mind. You're still grieving. You missed your loved one, and some of that pain, I would imagine, will never go away. And then you hear the President of the United States get up on a stage and say this. I want to play the audio one more time for you. This is the President of the United States in this specific situation, bringing up Debbie Dingell and then bringing up her late husband, John Dingell, last night in Michigan. Have a listen to this.
Debbie Dingell, that's a real beauty. So she calls me up like 8 months ago. Her husband was there a long time. But I didn't give him the B treatment. I didn't give him the C or the D. I could have. Nobody would have, I gave the A+ treatment. Take down the flags. She calls me up. It's the nicest thing that's ever happened. Thank you so much. John would be so thrilled. He's looking down. He'd be so thrilled. Thank you so much, sir. I said, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Maybe he's looking up. I don't know.
Now imagine you having to hear that. And in this day and age with social media, and in this day and age, how things get through very quickly across the world, you're that husband, you're that wife, you're that widow. What would go through your mind if anyone, let alone the President of the United States, made comments like that? What would go through your mind if you lost your child in a school shooting? You're one of those horrible, horrible stories of your child being gunned down in a school shooting. And you heard a right-wing talk show host on the air say, quote, a nice school shooting would be a distraction from impeachment. What would go through your mind if you heard something like that? I want to know. And I want to know if there's anybody out there that would defend this Colorado radio host who happens to be a right-wing conservative Donald Trump supporter. No, I do not think just because you're a Trump supporter, you're going to say an idiotic thing like that. That's not what I'm referencing. But he is a right-wing talk show host who was fired. And then the president going after a longtime World War II veteran. And the reason why I bring that up, and I'll open up the phone lines at 702-257-5396. And again, that number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation is 702-257-5396. And the reason why I bring this up is for this reason, JD.
Because you want to know.
The reason why I bring this up is because, is this the society that we're living in now where this is the norm? Where people can say things like this, where you can go after a World War II veteran that has lost his life. You could say in regards to John McCain, I don't respect him because he was captured. Is this the norm in politics right now? Is this the norm in talk radio right now, where you can go on the air? Luckily, in this case, the station did the right thing and let this guy go. But is this the norm in politics right now, where you could go after somebody in this case, a war veteran from World War II that served this country honorably, you could go after somebody like that and you could say something like that, and then the White House press secretary will go on the networks, and the White House press secretary makes an appearance, in this case with George Stephanopoulos, and defends the president. And the defense and the excuse is, well, everybody's going after him. Because that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing from the press secretary, who, by the way, doesn't do press briefings anymore. I don't think she ever did. Is this the norm of politics today, that there are no press conferences? Is this the norm in this country today, where the president of the United States can get up on a stage and go after a World War II veteran and make a reference to the possibility that he could be in hell? Maybe that's something you save for an evil, murderous dictator. Maybe you can say that about Yasser Arafat. Maybe you could make a comment like that about Saddam Hussein. Maybe you could make a comment like that about Osama bin Laden. And I would come on the show and say, all right, I don't feel bad for him making that comment because those are evil, murderous dictators that killed so many innocent people. I don't have a problem with that. But to talk about a World War II veteran in the way he did, for a radio talk show host to say a nice school shooting would be a good distraction from the impeachment, how can anybody defend those comments? 257-5396. Let's go to Atticus. Atticus, you are first up this segment on the Vegas Take. How are you?
Mr. Shapiro.
Hello? I think we've lost Atticus. 257-5396 is the number to call.
Hey, great call, Atticus. that was not creepy at all.
Yeah, that was a little creepy.
Nope, not creepy at all.
I think he's going to be starring in the next To Catch a Predator episode. 257-5396. Let's go to Jim. Jim, you are next on the Vegas Take. Go ahead, Jim.
Hey, what's up, Jim?
Hi. I'm just saying that, nobody said that he was looking up from hell, the congressman. He said maybe he's just looking up.
So what do you think he meant?
Well, I think he's looking up from the grave, and he's looking up to heaven and asking God, I feel that I've done good deeds. Help me come back up to you, because we all got to return back.
All right, so I just want to understand.
He said the word hell.
Okay, so I just want to understand your position. He started off, I just want to make sure I understand what you're saying. So he started off in this sound clip attacking Debbie Dingell, and the reason why he's attacking her is because she voted to impeach Donald Trump. So this was all in a negative light. He's saying he went out of his way for lowering the flag and all that sort of thing. So this conversation starts in a negative light in Michigan, and you're telling me when Donald Trump says he's looking down, but maybe he's looking up, and then he smirks and everyone's sighing, you mean to tell me, Jim, that's your position, that you don't think it had anything to do with hell? Is that what you're saying?
Well, neither you or I have the right to assume or make an assumption.
No, I have the right to do that. No, you're absolutely wrong.
That's not a fact. So we can't prove what he was actually trying to do.
Well, here's what I can prove, Jim. Hold on. Here's what I can prove. I can prove that President Donald Trump went after John McCain, and if you recall what he said, hold on, let me finish. He said he doesn't respect John McCain because he was captured. Do you remember that, Jim? Do you remember those statements?
I remember that.
Okay,
comment.
So the point I'm trying to make is this. We have a history with Donald Trump. He's gone after women based on their looks. He goes after Gold Star families. Yeah, he has done that before. He's gone after illegal immigrants. We know the comments that he's made. Now, Jim, I would take you for more of what you were saying if this was the first time the president said something somewhat controversial. You understand what I'm saying? But he has a history.
I understand what you're saying, but see, the whole thing I'm looking at is we're assuming, in our opinion, we are assuming, and that's what happened with the impeachment. Right.
I'm not talking about the impeachment.
Facts.
I'm not talking about the impeachment. That's a separate conversation.
We're talking about the comment he was looking up. Maybe
exactly.
He was looking up. Yeah, he's looking up to God.
I'm sure that's what.
My
all right.
faith. That's my belief.
All right, Jim.
And you're entitled to your own opinion, Jim.
You're entitled to your own opinion, Jim. But I could not disagree with you more.
And that being said, Brian, did John Dingell and Donald Trump have a history that you're aware of?
I've never heard him discuss it.
Well, I could tell you that they did. John Dingell actually created a Twitter account probably about 6 months prior to his death, simply to troll and make sarcastic comments about Donald Trump and the Republican Party. I'm going to read you one. 124:19. This is 3 weeks before he died. Crooks like Trump will steal a hot stove and come back for the smoke. There's no bar too low.
Do you have proof that was actually John Dingell that made that statement?
Absolutely. It's on his Twitter account,
Okay.
John Dingell with a check mark right next to it,
So
Brian.
I guess,
so they definitely have a history.
Okay, so because,
and is that being discussed? Of course not.
I haven't heard that from right wing or anywhere. So I haven't heard that. So, but let me just say this: if it's true, if that is true, doesn't change my opinion one bit. You know why? Because you're the president of the United States, and you're supposed to be above that. You're not supposed to dig into the dirt and go after people that are World War II heroes.
I'm not saying that that's not the case.
All right,
but is it a shock that he went after someone who went after him? No, he's done that his entire life, and since he's been president.
257-5396, the number to call. Let's go to Kellyanne. Kellyanne, you're next on the Vegas Take. Go ahead.
What's up, Kellyanne?
Hi there, guys. Brian, you're not being completely accurate or honest. I'm not sure.
How's that?
Well, President Trump didn't just decide to comment because he voted no. I'm sorry, that she voted for impeachment.
Uh-huh.
He tweeted the other day after she ripped on him on the House floor.
Okay.
She put him down.
The point I'm trying to make, it's a personal vendetta. And just because you don't like somebody based on, policy, or you don't like somebody based on the fact they vote, that is never a defense for going after a widow, her husband.
Excuse me. You talk so badly about President Trump, about Kellyanne Conway.
I'm not the president of the United States. Have I ever gone after a veteran?
Right.
Have I ever gone after a veteran on this show? Please, if you want to make the comparison between me and Donald Trump, have I ever gone after a woman based on her looks? Have I ever gone after a World War II veteran? Have I cheated on any woman after she had a baby?
I believe you have once called Hillary Clinton unattractive.
You go after people for no reason.
No, not true. I go after people for reasons. Please give me in a situation where I went after somebody for no reason. Please be specific.
It's everything you say about the president. He's never gone after you personally.
Okay, let me tell you why I go after the president. No, you just said I go after people for no reason. So let me correct you, if I may, and then I will let you respond. Here's why I go after the president personally. Because the president went after John McCain, said he didn't respect John McCain because he was... Hold on, let me finish. No, excuse me. Excuse me. You just said I go after people for no reason. You just said something that is not factually accurate, so now I am going to correct you. The reason why I go after the president on a regular basis is because I don't respect people that bang porn stars 2 months after their wife has a child. I don't respect people that go after women based on their looks. I don't respect people that go after World War II veterans. I don't respect people that go after somebody like a war hero in John McCain and say they don't respect him because they were captured. I don't respect people that go after illegal immigrants. I don't respect people like that, Kellyanne. Well, you just said something that is not factually accurate. You said I go after people for no reason.
None of those people have ever called you out personally.
So you're saying somebody has to call me out personally for me to call out their behavior? Guess what? O.J. Simpson never went after me personally, but I think he's a scumbag and a double murderer.
Every one of these people who Trump has gone after has called him out personally.
So because somebody doesn't call me out, I can't call. Let me ask you a question. You're not an Obama supporter, right? Have you ever said anything negative about a Democrat in your life? Have you ever said anything negative personally about a Democrat in your life? Because I know you're a Trump supporter. Please answer the question. Have you ever gone after a
Trump supporter? I will never deny that.
Have you ever said anything negative about a Democrat? Have you ever said anything?
You make it sound like I should be ashamed of that.
Have you ever said anything negative about it? Answer the question. Have you ever said anything personally negative about Hillary Clinton?
No. No, I don't go after people personally.
Okay. Have you ever said anything negative or
Exactly my point.
You've never gone after anybody personally in your life that is a public figure. Is that the point you're trying to make? You're a saint? Is that what you're saying?
No, I have different opinions in them, and I go against an opinion, not against a person.
So your position.
You, on the other hand. Call these people out like Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Yeah, she is. She is Suckabee. Yeah, she does suck.
She's never said anything. Oh,
she doesn't have to say anything. She doesn't know who. She doesn't know who I am. She doesn't know who I am. So,
she might.
So hold on. Let me just get this right. Kellyanne's position is this. You can talk about you can't talk negatively about a double murderer. You can't talk negatively about anybody in society unless they personally go after you. Is that your position, Kellyanne? Because it's absolutely buffoonery and ridiculous.
You don't, the things that you say, you don't have any firsthand knowledge about these people.
I just played audio of, Kellyanne, I just played audio of what Donald Trump said last night. I played audio of what Donald Trump said about John McCain.
I'm going to give you one more, John.
Hold on a second, but we got the caller on the line. Kellyanne, I played audio of the actual statements that Donald Trump has said. What do you mean I don't have firsthand knowledge?
Okay,
what are you talking about?
What you should be arguing is I don't agree with those. They were bad things for him to say. Not, he's a scumbag.
So if somebody goes after a war hero and goes after their service,
No,
you're telling me
wrong.
I'm the
You're
terrible.
wrong.
Hold on, let me finish. You're telling me
did not
I'm the
go after
terrible
him.
one. You're telling me
lying.
you're telling me I'm the terrible one for going after
Ryan.
someone that says it. How have I lied? Now you're going to call me a liar. First you say,
You're lying, Brian.
okay, when have I ever lied on this show?
She just gave you a new name,
Okay,
Lion Brian.
Kellyanne, when have I ever lied on this show? Give me one example of when I've ever lied on this show.
Now, you're saying he went after him. No. he
Okay, hold
fought
on a
back.
second.
He
We're gonna
punched
play
back.
the audio right now. Now you're gonna be quiet and listen, okay? This is
No,
what
he
Donald Trump
punched back.
excuse me, this is what Donald Trump said about John McCain. Please play that audio.
He's not a war hero.
He's a war hero.
He's a war hero.
5.5 years in
He's
the
a war
POW
hero because he
camp.
was captured. I like people that weren't captured.
Okay, Kellyanne, now you sound like a moron. I just played the audio.
No,
How did
I
I
don't
make
sound
that
like
up?
a moron.
No, you are a moron. Get
You
off the
don't-
show.
Hey.
You're a moron.
Okay,
You're a
yeah.
moron.
Really, really good call. So another tweet from John Dingle about Donald Trump.
We talked about this. Why are you reading more tweets? We don't even know if it's accurate.
Oh, of course it's accurate. 11/22/18. Our president may be a sentient sack of sweet potatoes and horrible ideas, but I'm sure thankful the American came out in droves to put a check on him and his cronies this past election.
You're right, JD. So that's
This
a defense.
guy-
he must be going to hell. You're right. Let's go to Morris. Morris, you're
guy
next on the
attacked
Vegas
Trump
take.
numerous times.
Morris, what's going on?
Yeah. Hi, Brian. Thanks for taking my call.
Hey, what's up, Morris?
Yeah. What I was going to tell you, actually, first of all, I like to, that new name you got for
Did we lose Morris?
Hello, Morris.
Uh-oh. I think we lost Morris. Morris, I apologize for that. You can call back if you may. So here's my thoughts on that last call. I have a lot of thoughts there, and then we got to go to break, by the way. She said I attack people for no reason. That is the most idiotic statement I've ever heard in my life. Then she said I don't have firsthand knowledge. While I've played the audio of Donald Trump and what he said about Dingle 3 times on the show, also an idiotic statement. And then the point I think she was trying to make, I don't think she really made any valid points, but she said if somebody doesn't personally call you out, you can't speak negatively about them, which is the most idiotic thing. That might be the dumbest thing anyone has ever said on a radio show that I have done. That is beyond idiotic. I guess we can't say anything negative about Charles Manson. Osama bin Laden never called me out, but he killed 3,000 Americans. But we can't call out Osama bin Laden.
It's making it seem like it's not warranted.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely absurd.
To call someone out for being heinous or
absolutely ridiculous.
Whatever the word is.
That's absolutely ridiculous. It is absurd.
And I will say this: you don't attack people unless attacked first. Typically,
of course,
personally.
Yeah.
But do you report negative things about people who have committed horrible crimes?
Of course.
Absolutely. That's what the news is.
That woman who just called in.
That's the definition of the news.
See, this is why we need an IQ test for voting. That woman should never be allowed to vote.
And is attacking a school shooter who killed 15 people for killing 15 people, is that attacking them personally? Or is that reporting the news and having your opinion based on what they did?
Of course.
There's a huge difference there.
Of course, JD, there is a huge difference. I agree. And that call might have been the dumbest call in the history of the Vegas Take. All right, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, what are the restaurants you really don't want to go to in Las Vegas? Darcy Spears does a fantastic job. She's going to be joining us next. And stay tuned. The Vegas Take, 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN.